in this internet world, and you have to make sure that with your own self-care, that's how you have confidence in yourself, with you being able to self-care for yourself. You have to have this time as well in order to just make sure that you're sane, you're whole, like you just said, your mental health, making sure your mental health is good. So when my mental health is good, then that means that my confidence is good. And
Right.
that's the main purpose, because you cannot serve no one or anybody, if you don't have that self-care and you don't make sure that your mental care is together. So definitely just Godfidence. I put God in everything that I do. So I consider myself like a silent killer, because you don't see me coming, but I'm just gonna
Yes.
kill. I'm like a sniper. So
Yes.
that's because of God, and I mean, you have to have confidence in yourself, but you have to believe in something. I know, like, people don't think that they're always doing it by themselves and things like that. They have to have somebody behind them. And I know
Right.
that God is behind me 100%. So
Mm-hmm.
that's what gives me the confidence that I need.
Awesome. Awesome. I love it. Love that narrative. Um, Francesca, can you please share with us your narrative on walking in confidence, please?
There we go. Absolutely. So, the name of my business is I Am Forever Evolving, and that has always been a staple for me prior to me even putting this together as a business. And whenever I was down, that was one of my taglines for myself, just to pick myself back up, to know that I'm not stagnant, to know that this is not the end all be all, right? And that whatever it is that's coming for me in the long run, that I am going to be evolving into a better person. And so for me, I think that whenever I am down, that's what I have to remember. And that's my affirmation in life. And so I decided to put this business together so that I can be able to empower others and to let them know that they too are forever evolving, and that where you're at is not where you have to be. Like, this is not it, right? This is not like your final destination, your final stop, and you can keep growing, you can keep building, and there are lessons to be learned, right, in all of the challenges that we may come across, looking at it as more of a resting stop, right? And that we can push through and keep going. So I feel like when it comes to walking in confidence, that's definitely something that I tagline. A few of the things that you ladies have mentioned, I resonate with, especially Dion. Um, so with my social work background, I know that once I got my master's and I got into my field doing evidence-based in-home family therapy, I quickly rose into like being a supervisor. And so by being a supervisor, I know that I was young, first of all, right, coming into this field, and being able to supervise people who may be older than me or people who may have been in the field longer than me. And so again, that presented its challenges, but walking in confidence for me in that arena has been really just sticking to, I know what it is that I'm doing, I'm confident in what it is that I'm doing, and also it's about giving and taking, right? It's not just being in a higher position and looking down at people, but seeing how we can collaborate and partner together, because at the end of the day, it's about who we serve and not about our titles and our positions. So walking in confidence for me, it can mean partnership, but also that we are forever evolving.
Yes, yes. I love it. I love your name. That's how I always identify you on Instagram. I said forever evolving. That's her. I know who she is. I might not know her first name, but I know her tagline, forever evolving. So that is awesome. And that's
Thank
a
you,
good way
Trina.
to you're welcome. It's a good way to like brand yourself as well, forever evolving. I love it.
Thank
You're welcome. You're welcome. Queen Angie, can you please give us your narrative on walking in confidence and walking in purpose as well?
Okay. I'm back briefly looking like a mad woman. Trying to do some client assessments, but confidence really, for me, boils down to being unwaveringly reassured of who you are and whose you are, based on life circumstances, based on whatever things were designed to break you down, or whatever is designed to pretty much make you feel as if you're less than, but then you find something in you, that still small voice, that we have the magic of the bounce back. That's who we are as women, especially women of color. We're the queens of the bounce back. So having that ability to be able to bounce back, to understand that whatever didn't kill us came to make us stronger. And that's what confidence is to me. I remember what I do with Wounded to Wonderful and what I do with I'm Consulting and the whole grief thing is because I walked through it. I've lived through it. I was 28 when I was widowed. A 2-year-old and a 2-month-old, had to leave, dissolve my businesses in Florida and relocate and have my family literally take care of me and my kids when I've always been self-sufficient. And instead of taking that and becoming bitter and becoming, unresolved, or actually leaning into, being taken care of without no longer taking care of myself. If I had done that, I wouldn't know what confidence is. And in doing so, when you learn through your downfalls and when you learn through the challenges or the things that were designed to knock you out, you write the notes from it. I'll always talk about in my book or anything I'm doing, always take the notes that life is trying to teach you. Write those notes down. And if you see a cycle happening, it means you didn't pass the test. So when I realized that I wasn't passing certain tests, I took the notes, stubbed my toe a few times and really said, Angie, this is not who you are. This is not who God created you to be. This is just something you're passing through. And one of my favorite scriptures, it says that, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I'll fear no evil. So whenever we're going through a dark time or a rough time, a teaching lesson, we're going through it. It's not for us to stay there, to wallow in it, to pity ourselves, or to be bitter for those who didn't, lend us a helping hand. It's for us to learn from, us to, like Francesca, evolve from, and just have that transitional moment to pivot ourselves into what destiny is trying to show us. And with confidence comes resilience, the ability to shine in those moments of disparity and being second guessed or being not taken seriously, Dondria, for your talent. There must have been times when they didn't take your talent seriously, but you had to stand resilient and says, I have a bomb voice, I have bomb talent, and somebody's going to hear me. Somebody's going to be inspired by the notes, the deflections, the words, the lyrics that I have to share. So with each and one of us, whatever we have to say, whatever we have to offer, exudes resilience. And with that, I learned from my lessons and beat anybody to the punch where I say I gossip about myself.
Yes.
I've grown from it. I can tell you the story. I can laugh about it, tell you how dumb I was, but I can also tell you what God has done. So that's the beauty of confidence, being able to laugh at your downfalls, laugh at the mistakes you've made, but not only laugh from it, learn from it and evolve from it. So that's pretty much it. And back I go to my client.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate you. You always drop a word. I'm always here for the word, okay? Anytime I get
I'm taking offerings. PayPal is open. PayPal is open, sister.
Yes, okay. So yes, guys, everything that you guys have said definitely resonated with me, with walking in confidence, and believing in yourself, and also being aware of yourself as well. So for our listeners who are on here that are not our speakers, did you guys have any questions for anyone at the moment? As far as walking in confidence, believing in yourself, developing good character habits and good character traits. If anyone wants to speak on giving good character traits, please do so. Good character traits. How do you develop good character traits? Hello?
Are you asking us that question, the panel?
Yes.
Okay.
I was gonna say practice makes perfect. I was ready to type it in.
I think for me it goes back to just really.
For they oxygen machines and stuff.
I think it goes back to just really being who you are, authentically who God created you to be. a lot of the times we miss out on our natural born talents or gifts because we're always watching and trying to duplicate somebody else's gifts or talents.
Yeah. Good character traits. How do you develop good character traits? Did someone else want to speak on that?
Really, it's really pretty much testing yourself when you're in the fire of things. I know all of us have been lied on. Some of us have been dragged through the mud. Inaccurate or completely false things may have been said about us, but it's all how you react to it. And that's what I believe when integrity speaks loudest and speaks for you, is how you allow yourself to react, because nobody can make you respond to a certain action or deed. It's how you have the absolute control over that. And that's a lot of things I realize we don't recognize, that we have absolute control on how we react to things. And that's what builds character. If you can hold your tongue, knowing when to allow your integrity and how you carry yourself on a daily basis in the face of inaccuracies, that's what builds character. And people will see that and they will gravitate towards you because they see how you carried yourself like a real star.
Yes, definitely agree.
And let me piggyback off of that, Angie. It's also picking up or practicing the fruits of the spirit. Big time, because it takes a lot to really do those things, and not just read about it, but actually practice it when you're put on the line to actually practice it. So, yeah.
So I know earlier I said practice, practice makes perfect. And it's important for us to continually self-assess, because if you're in tune with who you are and what it is that you're doing, then you can kind of isolate areas that you want to build upon, right? And so if you're able to self-assess and be intentional in building those characteristics that you want to be, for example, who do I want to be? Really asking, ourselves that question and being able to identify what that actually looks like and being intentional about practicing that, then that leads us to, building those characteristics that, shows up in who we are on a day-to-day basis.
Yes, I definitely agree with that as well.
Yeah, and just to add, I also think that it's okay to hit the reset button. It is definitely okay to hit the reset button. I know we start things, we do things, and we just, sometimes we're afraid of the backlash, we're afraid of what others may say, but it's definitely okay to hit the reset button.
Having that grace for self.
And it's okay to hit the delete button. Okay.
On the social media.
Delete the people out of your life that is constantly testing your integrity, and you know that they're doing it intentionally. So
and the block button. And
the do not disturb.
I call that clearing the clutter. Because a lot of times we have a lot of clutter, and that could be people, places, and things. And so a lot of times if we're trying to grow, right, you're trying to expand, something has to be removed. And so it's very important to clear that clutter, to make way.
Purge the file cabinet.
Yes, most definitely.
And I like to think that we're pretty much all like many manifestations of God and of Jesus. And so just like he was persecuted, lied on, denied, people acting like they don't know him when they know they do, the same things happen to us every single day. So I look at people and just remind myself that they're probably operating from hurt, from pain. They're really not out to get me. I'm just an easy target because of the God in me.
Right.
Because I'm practicing those gentle, patient, kind, forgiving ways that they haven't quite grasped yet. So that gives me a chance to take that power back from them.
Yes, most definitely.
I have a question.
Okay.
I was just thinking about this. This just got in my head. Okay, so what do you guys think if when we're talking about developing character, when you're getting better as a person, and you still have, you know, people that are around you may act like you used to act, but you don't act that way anymore because you're trying
Right.
to evolve, you know, always
Right.
evolving. And that person or those people that you're normally around, when you're becoming a better person and developing a better character, do you still hang around those people, or what do you do? Or do you try to bring them on board with you to change their character as well, or how do you guys feel about that?
I think it's important to lead by example. There will be people that you can not avoid in your life, such as family members, right? If they're in the same house, same city, state, depending on what that relationship is like, sometimes it's unavoidable. But it's okay to lead by example in understanding that it's not the person that you're getting away from, but from whatever that relationship may have sustained. A lot of people, they kind of have family relationships and dynamics that are traumatic, right? And sometimes it could be a mom, a father, someone of that sort, very close. And some of the things are, well, how do I, get rid of that person when that person is my mom? Like, I can love you for who you are, and I can still separate myself from whatever it is, because
Exactly.
it's not doing me any good. So here are if I have to be clear about what boundaries I need, or, how this relationship is going to go, please respect that and lead by example. Maybe they'll follow through and grow with you, and if not, they'll grow apart, but I still love you and I'll
Yes.
still be respectful.
I
Mm-hmm.
agree. And I believe that in life, there's seasons for all of us in life, and everybody in the previous season may not go with you into the next season. And it's not necessarily about the people being okay with that. It's you that have to be okay with that. And I find that for me personally, it was when I wasn't okay with that, when I find myself going back and trying to pacify or make excuses for keeping those people around. Solitude is not a bad thing, you know. It's okay to be alone sometimes. Sometimes that's the place that God wants us to be in. And a lot of times we don't want to accept that. And that's why we find ourselves looking back and saying, well, why am I still in the same place? Because I moved you from here and you went back there. So
Right.
Exactly. And you are feeling bad because you had to move that person to a different space or a different spot.
Yeah. And remember, growth is painful.
It is.
It is.
Yes, it most definitely is. I can remember, as I was transitioning into being an entrepreneur and becoming a whole nother person, like totally different than who I was. Like you said, Maisha, I had people that were around me that were still thinking and moving the same way that I used to move, and, once I realized that, I had complete control of my life. I had the control to make me happy. I had the desires, already within me. And it was up to me to make these decisions, and it was up to me to either stay or go and be in those situations, in those places as well. So when I made up my mind and said, okay, you know what? I'm done. I can't be going back and forth with this drama and dealing with these people and, and all this other excess stuff that ain't even got nothing to deal with me. Because that gets you in trouble too, because you end up being around people and, and it gets you involved in stuff as well. So it's like, okay, I'm tired of, being, the innocent victim and all of this, and I don't even know what's going on. So let me just dismiss myself and really focus and figure out what it is that I want to do, and know that those people, as several of you have said, those people cannot go with us. And I made it up in my mind that I did reach out to some of my friends, some of my very, very close friends when I was in my transition. Hey, this is what I'm about to do. This is my next move. So if you want to move with me, you can move with me. If not, then, hey, I see you when I see you, So I had made up in my mind that, okay, I had to let people go. If they were not willing to be there to support me or be there, in this transition, I can no longer be friends with you. I can no longer hang out with you. I can't come to your house. I can't do nothing. I cut every single thing off, period, because I had to focus. I was driven. I wanted something totally different, Yeah. So once you're, if you're passionate or whatnot, what you do, you regardless. And, for me, it was close family members. It was my first cousins. It was my sisters, my parents. Like I literally had to cut people off at certain times in my life because I had so much going on. I had to get my mental together in order for me to continue to build relationships with my family members and mend relationships with my family members as well. You know, so it comes back to us and us, you know, self-healing and, you know, doing the proper things that we need in order to make ourselves better, you know, and that's the overall good for everyone around us.
Yeah, and it's true. Like, I'm always referring to the Bible because that's what I pull
Yes.
from to live my life. And a lot of the things when we're younger, we hear those things and we really don't internalize them or dissect them for what they really mean. But one of the things in the Bible that I really hold fast to, especially when I was moving to Georgia, where God says your gift will make room for you.
Yeah.
And how I decipher that for myself personally, I always felt like I had to have the people I came up with, the people I was born with, people who just were around me all my life to come with me to see that gift manifested. But the gift is already within you. So if God is saying it's going to make room for you, you have to move the clutter out of the way to make room for those people that are going to help you get that gift to the next level or plateau. And that's something that I really had to learn coming to Georgia because I moved here completely by myself, just me, my husband, and my kids, no family at all. And I'm like, I don't have anybody I can turn to. I can't send my kids to go be watched by anybody so I can handle things. And I'm calling my family saying, when are you guys moving here? I was literally trying to move the whole entire family here, get them all pre-qualified and everything. And every time I felt like it was going to happen, God knocked it down. And he had to make me realize that I moved you from that familiar place for a reason, you know?
Yes.
And it was a really hard thing for me to accept, but the more and more I began to accept it, before I knew it, it's like this person is coming, a complete stranger is giving me tools and everything I need to get to the next level. So we just have to really spend time in that word and really continue to hear his small voice and be open to that discernment that he's given us, because he's always given it to us.
Oh, yes.
Yes, always be open. And I also tell people to, you know, start trusting people, because that's how when you open yourself up and you open your mind up, you have to allow yourself to trust, not trust everybody, but trust, you know, individuals to help you along the way. That's how you're going to learn. That's how you're going to experience, and that's how your mind and your persona and everything is going to develop and grow as you continue to go, you know, and grow on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Trina, real quick, I know we're fixing to get off. I just wanted to share who I was. I'm Sarita Ziegler. I'm with Guide My Heart. It's a nonprofit for teen girls and women. And I'm the founder and executive director. And then I work full-time as director of communications. And I'm a empowerment speaker, author, and also sing. And just wanted to addendum to, in regards to character, I think it's important that, you know, while we all desire success, that we don't ever let our desire for success overwhelm, you know, who we are, our character. And I see that a lot in the industry, in the media. You see it with these, you know, reality shows. People, you know, they give up their character for success. So it's real important that while we do desire success, let's, you know, always stay true to our character. I'm spiritual as well. And that's very important. And then just as far as confidence, it's important to not have the fear of rejection. The fear of rejection can keep us from our next level. And just, you know, I'm a woman, Black woman, and I'm single. And so I have to just know what my ultimate goal is, what my focus is, stay centered with God, and always stay true to my character. So I just wanted to add that in before, I know it's 9 o'clock now, so.
Yes, and my apologies. I did not see your name. I see owner, but I'm like, I don't know who owner is.
Yeah, and I was watching my head. I was like, who is that with that hat on?
Yes. Thank you so much for chiming in, ladies. It was a pleasure having you all on the call tonight. It was just great to just hear you guys talk about walking in confidence. And that, you know, you never know what you say and what you say in certain areas and circumstances as well. that people will take heed and, you know, realize, you know, okay, maybe they needed to hear that. Okay. So I definitely appreciate you guys for tuning in tonight. I'm going to ask Dondria to drop her link to her latest single. I want you guys to check out her single as well. And Dondria, you can tell them a little bit more about your single and what you have coming up next.
Yeah, so Haunted is available on all platforms, iTunes, Amazon, Google Play, Spotify, Tidal, wherever your zhuzh is, it is out there for you. And I'll be following this up with a EP. I was gonna drop it this summer, but I'd rather wait until, you know, Corona stops having an attitude and we can kind of get back to life. You know, before I just start dropping music. But yeah, it's coming and I'm excited about it. It is 100% authentic. And I think, the main thing, the project is called Perspective.
Okay.
And it's called that because every song will have more than one. You know, we have our surface level lyrics, you know, that everybody can just kind of vibe to. But just through my spiritual journey and moving through this thing, I got a little deeper. You know, so
yes,
a lot of these songs, even with Haunted, you know, surface, it sounds like you're just talking about the guy, you know, that screwed you over. But, you know, in my personal experience, it's been friends that, you know, maybe were around when I first dropped and, you know, it was popular to be my friend and that are no longer around. Family members, like many of you have said, that just don't get it. And even business partners that I, you know, trusted to have my best interests at heart that child did me wrong. So
yes,
there's all kinds of perspectives on this project coming out.
All right, awesome. So if you would be so kind to drop the link in the chat as well, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you're the one for me.
Yes, you're the one for me. Hey.
I feel it all over my body.
Yep.
Yes, that's the song, girl. That's the song.
Look, I just wanted you to hear me saying that, okay? Everybody know I can't sing, but I like to bust out in songs, you know, very randomly. Okay?
You did good.
Yes. Well, it was a pleasure to have you on, Dondria. I really appreciate you for taking the time out, you know, for spending with us and listening to us as well and sharing your perspective on walking in confidence. Queens, please check out her latest single and also follow Miss Dondria as well. If anyone has anything else to say, the floor is open for the last 5 minutes.
Can everybody make sure they drop their social media name to make sure we're all following each other?
Okay.
Good idea.
Yes. And I also added most of you guys, the speakers in a group chat earlier today. So if you would like to see, you know, the women who are speaking as well, you can find them in the group chat and follow them as well. Let's see. But again, guys, thank you again for joining us tonight with the Girl Let's Talk Atlanta Walking in Confidence. It was a pleasure to present this to you guys. You know, I always want to be involved and always want to do something, you know, in the community and for women. And due to COVID, you know, I've always just, you know, hosted events just to give us the space and opportunity to at least speak for a second, because you never know what a 5-minute conversation can do for somebody. So I appreciate you guys for tuning in and just sharing the conversation with us.
Thank you.
Yes. So
Thanks,
you guys,
Trina.
you're welcome. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you all for being a part as well. So if you could drop some of your social media handles in the chat box, and I am going to leave it on for a few more seconds so that everyone can get that information. And again, guys, thank you all so much for tuning in with Girl Let's Talk Atlanta. If you all are available on tomorrow, we do have a millennial motherhood conference as well, and we're going to be talking about millennials and motherhood. I am a millennial mom. I had my first son I was pregnant at 16, ended up having him at 17. And then, you know, just having him at an early age, I was going to school. I was going to day school, night school, and then eventually I had to pick up a job and things like that. So just raising children in the millennial time, in millennial motherhood, is what we're going to be talking about on tomorrow. So if you guys want to tune in on that, that information is on the Girl Let's Talk Atlanta Instagram page as well.
Perfect.
Okay.
Hey. I was trying to turn down a little bit for y'all. Y'all know, like, for anybody that knows me in person, I'm always upbeat. I'm always excited. So I'm really, really trying to be calm.
Be
All
your
right.
authentic self, Trina. Look.
That's right.
No. Y'all ain't ready for me.
But that's what we fall in love with, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, it was a
yes.
pleasure meeting all of you ladies this evening.
Yes.
I'm
It was
actually
up
in
to
New
me.
York, so I know many of you are in Atlanta, but I'm in New York, and I'm so happy to be a part of this platform and Girls Let's
Yes.
Talk, you know, networking. So I love it.
I'm loving your
Yeah.
backdrop, honey.
Oh,
That's
well, this
what
is,
I know, right?
Yes.
thank you. This is actually the headboard. So that's been my office since I've been working from home.
It's all right. It's doing a thing.
Thank you.
Look, I was looking at that too. I was like, what is that? You know, I'm an event planner, so I was like, I
Right.
like that.
What? I'm like, I need some lights around my backdrop.
Yes.
Thank you.
Put some lights on that headboard. I love it.
I know, right?
I'm trying to look into some DIY projects around the house.
Yeah.
I
Get
think
some LED lights
my
and
husband is sick of me with my DIYs. Too much money.
Yeah.
I was gonna say get some LED lights and stick them up around the
Yeah,
headboards. Maybe
actually,
that'll
we put them around the TV in the bedroom, so those was really
nice. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. I got some for the kids. They love it. They love it. Well, again, guys, thank you all for tuning in. I am going to end the live. I hope everyone has information. If you need more information on some of the attendees and on the women who spoke as well, you can always DM me and I will provide that information to you. This is being recorded as well. So once it is over, I'll have the recording as well, and I'll be sending those links throughout the rest of this week via email and Instagram DM.
Awesome.
All right, queens.
Thank you.
Enjoy
Have
the
a great
rest of
night,
your-
ladies.
Thank you.
All right. Good night. Stay
Good
safe.
night.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.